Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jupiter Klein, and I am joined today with my co-commentator, Danazuke. Hello, Danazuke.
Hello, Jupiter. I'm so glad to be here commentating with you today.
It's going to be a great one. We've got a winner's side match here between Bramhall and Vlad. Both really excellent Aria players. Should be a treat. Now, Danazuke, maybe you can give us a quick overview of what kind of preset settings we're using this time around.
So this time around we're using the stat rando, which, by the way, do you like casinos? Because this is exactly what it is. In the terms of all the stats for the enemies have been randomized. You could get minus or HP, minus or plus defense, or minus or plus attack, along with elemental weaknesses and resistances, maybe to slashing, holy, dark, poison, or curse. I mean, it's all like a everything is a surprise. You don't know what you're gonna get until you actually hit something, or when actually something hits the player.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of the combat, you have to react to it in real time, depending on what enemies resist or what they're weak to. And that was a pretty mediocre shop at the start for both players. It is a shop sanity setting, so the shop is random. Both players got Lightning Doll, and then Vlad also picked up the Cut-All, which is a decent early multi-hit.
It's not the strongest, but I mean, unless they run on a lot of enemies with resist slashing, they should be good. But yeah, that shop was ugly, not gonna lie. And here comes Creaking Skull. Let's see, is weak to curse and resist fire, but Lightning Ball makes quick work of it.
Yeah, so for viewers, keep an eye on the bottom right side of the screen. You'll see every time you hit an enemy, a little window pops up showing stat changes and then weaknesses and resistances as well.
By the way, none of the runners has yet found Black Panther. Black Panther should always be found either in the first area of Castle Corridor or in this part here with the bats and the water.
Yeah, it's guaranteed to be at the end of this hallway here. Yeah, there's the blue canister for Vlad.
There it is.
And this is just the way to kind of speed up these races. The difference between having Panther and not having Panther is huge. If you've played Link to the Past, it's kind of like the boots, only for Castlevania.
Except these boots depend only on one single button pressed every time, but it consumes MP.
Yeah, good point. MP management does matter. Especially early on. Once the runners get higher levels, they can just hold R to their heart's content. But early on, you got to make sure that you're breaking enough candles to keep your MP high.
Vlad
so flying armor here is the next one.
Armor.
With a Panther first preset, this flying armor is rarely useful, but it can have some utility. There are some new tricks, like climbing up the waterfall, for example, where having flying armor in addition to Panther can be a big help.
By the way, Vlad found Undyne, and I believe Bram did the same. They found Undyne, so they can now just walk on water.
Now, Danazuke, I think you'll agree that we've talked about what the preset this year changes. The enemy stat rando, we got the area rando, Panther first. Overall, I think this is the toughest preset that we've seen. Because enemies can roll higher HP and higher attack, it's quite a bit easier to die here. Yes. And we've seen a couple of deaths already so far.
Yes, tell me about it. I've died several times to the most common of enemies, and it's I mean, the game becomes a scary thing when you are running to things that could be plus attack. So yeah, everything hits like a truck. So the players have to be careful. For example, which fights they are going to pick, and which fights they should just say, okay, you know what, I will just come back later for this. For example, if they're running early into a Legion with plus HP and they don't have any good gear to take care of it, it's just best to bail.
Now, both runners found Skula in this bat-locked location at the top of Corridor, so that means that going underwater is technically considered flight-locked. So we are going to be seeing flight before Reservoir, probably. Now, this is interesting. This is an empty cemetery. I'm surprised both runners are going this way. You'll notice at the top of the screen, right next to the HP and MP bars, there is a countdown tracker.
Bram going straight into the boss and not even saving. I mean, well, it worked for him, but it's a plus defense, great armor. Although it's...
Looks like a minus attack plus defense. Now, the good thing is, there's a vanilla weakness here to electricity. So Lightning Bell's going to put in a lot of work. But yeah, this is... I'm going to go ahead and say this is a bad decision. Without Malthus, without Flight, there is only one check here that our runners have access to, and it's through the dangerous Ripper Room. However, I think the one reason to fight Great Armor is there is a chance, with the new preset, that defeating Great Armor is going to be required. And maybe, Donazuki, you can talk about that. The new objectives part of the Rando.
Of course. So, now the books not only... I mean, they can have target soul, like you need this soul from this monster. Oh, careful, Vlad. Almost dead. And also the books have a chance to give the runner an objective, like defeat the dance hall boss, defeat the cemetery boss. And it's not, for example, defeat Legion, it's whatever boss is located at that location, because bosses are also randomized.
Yeah, so defeating Great Armor might become relevant later on. Both runners doing a great job of just staying alive. It actually worked out. However, they did have to use some healing resources. And because this difficulty is higher than other presets we've seen in the past, healing is more important than ever. So we'll see if that's relevant later. But there will be plenty of opportunities to buy more healing in the future.
Yeah. One of the things I've always recommend is that, I mean, even if you enter a zone with 0 checks, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's empty. You can find maybe some useful gear or things that you can sell at the shop. Sometimes they just sell for like really high prices, and that's also helpful. I mean, or you get healing. Any healing the players can get through the course of the run is actually very welcomed, because I mean they don't know if the shop, or even if the upgrades of the shop, are going to have any healing at all. Vlad.
And Vlad almost dead again, but here's the save.
Those are some scary crows.
Now, we're seeing an interesting route here from Bram. You can do this by equipping and unequipping Skula. Vlad doing the same thing. This is not considered in logic. Yeah, this makes sense. So not going to be able to get up here. But anytime you want to swim around, the game expects you have both Skula and Malthus. So Malthus is going to be up next. We're going to find that soon.
Yeah, the lack of Malthus has been, I mean, taking its toll on the players, because they cannot explore certain areas like really fast. Oh, there's the Sherman ring effect.
You know, it's funny. We've been seeing runners try to push the meta with some of these less common rings, notably the rare ring, which has gone from a somewhat neglected option to, frankly, a top-tier accessory. Sherman ring's not quite there yet, but levels are more important than ever now, and you are walking around quite a bit. So yeah, it's good. I think we'll start seeing the Sherman ring a little bit more this year.
Yeah, most likely. So Bram finds the dance hall. Let's see what's in here. It's oh, there's a canister there. And it's an imp drop. There's Malthus.
There's Malthus.
Nice. Little bit of indecision from Bram, like not sure where to go. Should he return or go to the upper part of the dance hall to go check these locations?
I think in this situation, either route is fine. This is a stacked dance hall, so we're probably going to do close to every check here. Now, the easiest boss has been defeated. This could be anything from Big Golem to Legion. If it's Legion, Our runners are not well equipped for that fight, let's say. Oh no, very lucky. It's vanilla. So this will be a very doable here.
It's minus HP, minus defense, resistant to fire. Okay, so that's an easy big golem. And oddly enough, Bram finds the big golem soul on a canister in the area where big golem is the boss.
Quite a coincidence. Oh, there's the first book, and it is Tsuchinoko book in the Tsuchinoko room. That's interesting because you'll notice there were two names there. The first name is the soul you have to equip to satisfy that objective. You need to do that to get the true ending. And the second name in parentheses is the enemy you can optionally choose to farm it from. Farms are never required. Every soul can be found somewhere in a canister, but oftentimes it's quicker to farm. However, in this case, ectoplasm, even with the boosted drop rate, that's a bad farm. Very low odds, so runners will have to keep that in mind if they choose to farm it later.
Ram was in a bit of trouble back then compared with a low HP. But now, he managed to get into the bedroom. And Vlad finds some cutting. And healing is... Oh, this golem is doing a lot of damage.
We notice a difference in strategy here on the big golem fight. Vlad was using a lot of Arc Demon, where every time you take damage, it fills up your MP bar quite a lot. That was allowing Vlad to get a lot of lightning dolls out, speeding it along. Bram, by comparison, yeah, this might be a comeback later situation. Oh, just barely gets it. No healing in the blocking mail random drop. What the? That's huge. This has been a bad armor. See, that's a good piece of armor.
Well, that's a bit of an advantage from Bram over Vlad. Because that blocking mail will, I mean, just procs in the worst of situations when you most need it. So yeah, that's huge.
I got some trivia for the chat. What are the odds that blocking mail drops any particular attack? I ask because I definitely know. I know the answer, but I want to see if the chat knows. Because I definitely know the percentage. It's in the ballpark of 20 to 50%. I think it's 30. I think it's 30. It's very high.
Very high. Somebody's saying 5%, 33%.
It's not 5%. Okay, it's 25%. I believe the Barracks actually checked the numbers on this last year. Sorry, 1 in 4 odds that any hit just gets totally negated. Final guard style, which is pretty cool. Now, the downside is the stats themselves aren't the best. Like, there are better defensive pieces of armor, but that effect can be very, very useful. It can be life-saving.
I mean, but getting a 25% chance of blocking any attack, I mean, that's really huge. Chances are you're going to, I mean, if it procs a lot, you'll be safe most of the time.
Oh, no, Vlad's dead. Vlad's dead.
Oh, no, there we go.
The second I saw that Dryad attached, I knew it was over. And where was the last save?
It's a plus attack Dryad. And they have to be really careful here.
Okay, this is good. Vlad did not lose that much time. It was a good save.
Uh-oh, watch out. It's a plus attack gargoyle. And no healing.
Yep, just duck. You're good. You're good. Oh, man. This preset's stressful.
And oh, careful. Those imps are up to no good.
Bramhall's in a tough position here. No healing. And is at the unfriendly side of Reservoir. Yeah, just gonna reset. I think that's a fine call, actually. There are 5 entrances to Reservoir in total. So there will definitely be opportunities to come back later. But Vlad's gonna go ahead and take the trip down to the boat. What do you think we're gonna find here?
I mean, Lumix would have hoped for... Oh, there's a Tsuchinoko soul. Most players would have hoped for a vanilla claim, but well, they haven't found any decent weapon yet. Actually, well, Bram saw a Gognir, a reservoir. So maybe he could go get that. So
So yeah,
now,
barring an ectoplasm farm, this area is going to be required.
ooh, he has to be
So
really
we are going to see a
careful.
return trip from Bram at some point. Now, Vlad's going to have the same issue that Bram did moments ago, where, you know, this is an unfriendly entrance, and coming back through Forbidden is not really a great option. So what do you do here? Yeah, now 1 hit away from death. Does have a pudding at least. That's it.
He gets the Gognir, and now, well, now he's better equipped for some things in the castle, unless they all have a resistance to lightning. Luckily enough, these fish heads are... Oh no, wait, those fishes are plus attack. Ooh, this is... Careful, careful here, Vlad.
Now, Bram showing us that sometimes there's an advantage to taking the path of least resistance. Finds Giant Bat right at the start. So it's going to have flight access, and I think more importantly, Giant Bat is great for dodging things and just getting around. Like, it would make this situation Vlad's in quite a bit easier to navigate. Let's see if he just returns immediately. He might.
He's back at the dance hall. I think he will be returning for Reservoir. These fishheads have not been friendly today, and this part is really... Okay, there we go. This part is really dangerous because he has only 100 health.
Plus HP, plus attack, plus defense. Yeah, to your point, this is one of the most dangerous enemy types in the game, funny enough. Because they're one of the most efficient enemies at comboing Soma. Like, if you run into a fish head and they shoot a fireball, that's 3 hits. So, yeah, very easy to die here, even with vanilla stats, let alone boosted stats.
Bram
A kicker for Bram.
He now can kick things in the head. Now let's see what's in this check here for Vlad. It's that's a Rando, I believe. No, that's a
Dainsleif is not bad. It's not good until they get backdash. But this is, after all, the ultimate magical sword. That's what the game says it must be true. It is a pretty decent dark elemental greatsword. And it's good to have one of those in your back pocket. Dark is not a great combat element in vanilla, but we could have, for example, a chaos that's weak to dark, in which case it'll become really good.
Yeah, an interesting thing of these stat rando resistances is that, for example, some enemies can be... Oh, there's the blocking mail proccing. So some enemies can be weak, for example, to poison. And if you get a weapon like the Haunting, you can just poison the enemy and then switch to another weapon that does a lot more damage. And since the enemy stats will be lowered because of the poison, they can inflict actually more damage to a boss. That's really helpful. Ooh.
Vlad flirting with death once again. Barely escapes, but it's going to go say hi to Mina. So all good. Oh my god, look at this. 2 books. Killer Doll is the other book for Danazuki. Did we see that for Vlado? I'm not sure that we did. But yeah, 2 books in Forbidden. That's crazy. Now, I'll note, there is a 50% chance that any book placed has a duplicate somewhere else.
Ooh. Braham is really, you know... Okay. Blocking mail doing its job. And the King Nasus not being friendly to Braham. Well, this has been actually really scary. Everything is a lot of stuff are actually plus HP, plus attack. So I mean, they have not gone yet into, you know, like later bosses like Valor or Legion.
No, that was a clutch play from Bran. That's exactly what you do in that situation. If you get seeded by the Dryad, you want to just pause and suspend. But here's the thing. Yeah,
Ouch.
Bram's got 4 HP. That's rough. However, the important thing is Bram's going to remember what those books said and won't have to come back later. This is actually not a big deal, so long as, of course, Bram remembers. So it's Killer Doll and Tsuchinoko. And there's the final book behind the waterfall.
Well, sadly, they have no Rush Soul yet. They have the Undying, but no Rush Soul, so they cannot get behind the waterfall. But if they find an exit, maybe in another area that leads behind the waterfall, they can get this blue book. This plus defense Tridon is just proving too much.
This is kind of an under the hood change, but I wanted to talk about it. So in previous years, with the way the randomizer was coded, you were guaranteed to find a rush soul in every scene. And those are some of the very best souls in the whole game for combat. This year, it's only going to be found if it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, it's treated like any other soul, where you can sometimes find it randomly, sometimes get it from a drop, but it's not guaranteed. And that's important, because what that does, it diversifies the combat meta. So we're not going to be seeing as many rush soul options this year as we did in previous years. I think choices like Shadow Knight, for example, or other mid-tier, high-tier blue souls are going to get more of a chance to shine. But yeah, that's an unfortunate death for Vlad.
Yeah, Vlad
I'm
took
not
a
sure how
gargle
much
to
time
the
he
face.
lost.
Vlad taking a gargle to the face and sends him back to the last save room. That's really sad. So, I mean, this seed is one of those seeds that looks really difficult on the part of the enemies that are spawned, because as you can see, I mean, most of it are plus HP. Well, this is minus attack, and that's actually really nice. They won't be hitting for that much. But I mean, whatever you run into that is plus attack will deal a huge amount of damage. And you don't want that.
Well, that's pretty convenient for Vlad. Just finds another entrance to Reservoir. And a good point in the chat, which is that the Tsuchinoko soul will have to be returned for. But at the very least, the deeper check, which is the really time-consuming one, that one Bram can just skip.
Yeah, exactly.
We might see that here, actually.
One of the things, I mean, one of the rules for this tournament is that you need to see, at least you need to get the book once and read it. Yeah, I mean, if the player knows what the book says, I mean, what's the target or what's the soul, then you just have to go get it and that's it. You don't, in case you save split or reset for some reason, you don't have to return go get the book. Because, among something else, guessing is now banned. So players cannot guess what's the soul, or maybe just go kill all bosses and that's it.
That's a great point. So there was a community vote on whether or not guessing should be banned. We saw a couple of matches in the last tournament where guessing played a pivotal role in the outcome. And it was just deemed a little bit too over-centralizing by the community. So it's been banned. Runners will have to at least see every book. You don't have to necessarily have them in your possession, but you have to find them and read them before you face Graham. So if, for example, you save, split a book, or if you die, as we've seen here, and you leave a book behind afterwards, that's okay. But you can't just guess blindly and hope for the best.
So Lavama asks, how's the seed been so far? Doesn't look like it's been too trolly. Oh, it's been trolly a lot. I mean, everything is doing a lot of damage to our players. So, I mean, they've been having some trouble here in this first 20 minutes of the run. But after, I mean, if they find maybe the Headhunter or Death and they defeat it, maybe with the shop upgrade they will get better gear. Because this starting shop was awful.
Vlad might be dead here. One hit away.
Yeah, hard to throw with the lightning. Okay.
Now Vlad did not get that blocking mail drop, but does have pitch black suit, which again is a fine mid-tier piece of armor. But God, it's been so many plus attack enemies to this point. Oh, interesting. So that forbidden check is not required. There's a duplicate here in Clocktower that's really good for Vlad.
Okay, so let's see. I've seen the Dancehall so much on Bram's stream. He's returned to this spot a lot. Well, it's maybe because it's the only, I think it's the only warp room he's opened so far. Maybe he's going to try and open the reservoir warp room. And Vlad is going for the clock tower boss.
Again, I think this makes sense. There's not going to be a major check back here, but we still have to find that blue book. And there's a decent chance it'll be a kill boss objective. So you might as well fight this boss. Another plus side is that because it's Headhunter, this is going to unlock one of the 2 shop upgrades. Oh, when did Vlad get backdash? I'm not sure if Bram has that, but that's going to make the Danes live a lot more useful.
I think he found it on the lower part of Reservoir. And well, this hunter is plus attack, but since it's like the 3rd boss in the game, in the vanilla game, it isn't actually that hard to on the damage, at least not right now. Few more hits, there we go. Ooh, Bram, be careful, you're poison, and those plus attack gargoyles are...
Ooh, this is not good.
Oh no! Of course. So Vlad has a huge advantage now.
Also, why is Bram going down?
All right, so I've got a word here from on the direct messages. Actually, Headhunter looks like it is the 5th boss in the game, not the 3rd.
But yeah, it's right after Big Golem.
You get the idea.
Find the quarters.
It's one of the earlier bosses of the game, so it won't be that. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, right?
I would say it's kind of middle of the road. I mean, it's not that. I would not call Headhunter a pushover by any means. With the Danes left, so fighting a mid-game boss with a late-game weapon, that's a good matchup for sure. But yeah, a Headhunter can definitely be lethal. I think Vlad did a good job with that. Now, oh, I see what happened. Yeah. So Bram picked up Tsuchinoko, tried to escape, and died in the gargoyle room. It might be worth cutting your losses and just coming back later. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, it's they know that Tsuchinoko's soul is there, and he can go get it because he has Kula. So what he can do is just come back for it later. Now he has to exit again through this part of the reservoir that is not that friendly, but well, he has a lot more health now. There's the Gognir. Let's see if he gets it. Nope. Imps doing their job, blocking their way. There we go. And in the meantime, Vlad is just climbing a clock tower to see what the actual entrance leads to. And it goes to top floor. Okay. Ooh, I'm here in a bit of a situation here. These fish heads are... Oh no! Fish heads doing their job and preventing Bram from advancing. On the meantime, Vlad is going... I mean, because they have flight now, they can come here for this... Ooh, be careful. For this warp room on top floor, and they can return later when it's needed. So they don't have to worry about just finding top floor again. Bram, please, just return later. You know what it is. That's a slightly nasty top floor. Everything is nasty in this seed. So let's see what's in store for Vlad now after the Headhunter fight. Yeah, he's selling a lot of things he doesn't need. Let's see.
Yeah, this is really sad. Vlad's got like a 10-minute lead at this point, maybe more. But barring some kind of a collapse on Chaos, is actually Vlad's race to lose.
Well, look, there was a Chronomage Soul in the shop, which Vlad can now use. I mean, if he goes back to inner quarters, because he couldn't explore inner quarters before because he didn't have Malphas, but now he can go back and explore linear quarters. And he has the chronomage, which allows him to get past that little rabbit. Ooh, that's those lubricants are really scary.
So it's interesting here. So Vlad's got the Iron Golem Soul equipped, which is one of the best speed yellows because it just totally negates all knockback. The trade-off is it reduces the number of iframes Soma receives after getting attacked. It's a really scary choice for stat rando because if it's like a series of plus attack enemies, you can die before you even realize what's happening. So those lubricants, for example, I believe they were plus attack, huge damage. Still a good choice, I think. It's just a riskier one. Okay, and a Rahab sword, that's actually really nice. Both because it's a solid auto-cancel weapon, and because it's an ice element. If an enemy is weak to ice, this thing could become a top tier.
As a blue soul, it's a witch. Nothing really special. Yeah, I mean, any elemental weapon they can get their hands on, it will. Oh, nice rune ring finding by Vlad. Now he's got a lot of MP regeneration. But like I was saying, any elemental weapon they can find is actually a blessing for later on the game. Because they don't know what the stat rando has in store for the late game bosses. And if they are, for example, like you said, weak to water element, this will do a lot of damage to the boss. Delta Toast 89, yeah, exactly. Vlad can use the chronomage to stop the chronomage. Vlad going back to... This is Castle Corridor? Okay, so... Vlad really looking for that bag of gold there. And Bram finding the dance left. So, what do you think, Jude? Do you think maybe Vlad is going, or should he go maybe to inner quarters, see what's there?
Yeah, that's back on the table now with Malthus, but I think this is a good call too. Just keep exploring. And Chapel's a nice one. Easy area to full clear. It's got an easy boss. Once Vlad finds a Rush Soul, he's actually going to be in go mode, probably. Go back to the waterfall, pick up that book, see what it has to say.
Unless he finds a copy of Blue Book, which would be
always possible.
That would be like the best case scenario right now in case there are no Rush Souls available. Okay, nothing here in this part, and let's see what Ram's checking. Nothing but a Crimson Cloak. Just don't get hit by the fishes. So there we go. Vlad is going for this Manical Fire. Let's see what it is. Plus HP plus attack, but being like the second enemy of the game, this shouldn't take long. There we go. He's going to take advantage of Manticore just dead here. Oh, that's just a Skula copy there. He's going to do this climb here just to avoid the gargoyles that spawn after you leave that room. After the... Manticore fight, if you leave the room, there will spawn some gargoyles on top. So yeah, and these gargoyles are plus attack. Let's see.
Okay, so back to quarters, but from the other side this time. Oh, what's this? Okay.
Funny.
So Chronomage and Galamoth both for Vlad. Skull Key, that is a debug item brought over from Harmony of Dissonance. Does nothing. It's kind of thrown into the rando item pool as a little Easter egg, but you can't even sell it. Totally pointless. Let's see how good Galamoth is. We've got a gray.
A gray.
Ooh.
Nice. Nice. So now Vlad has the best, the cheap flight. You know, no mana required. What's in here? Oh, of course, death. So second shop improvement for Vlad if he kills death, and it's a plus attack death, so be careful. Those small sickles can combo you onto the big side, and that does a ton of damage.
Arc Demon, I think, is definitely the right call here. Should be close to done with phase 1. There we go.
And now that they have, they have slide, so well, this pattern should be easy to dodge with the slide. This pattern was not so easy to dodge.
Careful. I would heal here.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Okay. That final attack after death dies can hit you. It does deal damage, but Vlad survives it.
And goes back for the healing room. Braham in a little bit of trouble in the clock tower. Finding the copy of Red Book now. And Black doing this upper check here. See what it is. It's just a broadsword. He can sell that at the shop, maybe get some healing.
Prices are randomized, so even a bad weapon can sell for a ton.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, it's recommended to, even if you go to an empty checks place, it's not necessarily empty. There could be some objects, who knows, maybe there's a claim, or maybe there's a really high priced broadsword you can sell for a lot at the shop. There's the final check. And it's wooden golem. So, well, when these seeds start with this kind of ugly shops, they actually get a lot better after the first or second shop expansion. I'm not going to check the shop after the death fight. Interesting. Oh, but he finds gardens.
This is going to be required for later. This is how you get to Julius in the Chaotic Realm. It's got a couple of major checks as well. Oh, it's our red soul.
And it's a required soul. That's killer though. That's a required soul for the Red Book.
There is a pretty reasonable chance that we're going to wrap around to Behind the Waterfall, and that will be go mode for Vlad. Assuming the book condition's been met, of course. So this could be close to the end of the seed here. At least the first part. The red canister. Vlad not even opting for it. That's interesting. Happy with Lightning Doll, which is considered widely either the best or the second best bullet soul in the game. So I think just saving the 10 seconds, leaving that behind is fine. Oh, but instead, Vlad finds the arena.
Well, this is sad. It's not the exit maybe he was hoping for. They were hoping for. I was also hoping this was the exit behind the waterfall. I think neither player has found a copy of the blue book, right?
Not yet.
Oh, well, let's see what's in the shop for Vlad.
There could be a rush soul right here. Oh, Levitain.
That's huge.
Ascalon, Dracula's Tunic. No rush soul, but that's a good couple of weapons to pick up here.
He doesn't buy the Dracula Tunic. But Levitain is always good to have. It's a decent weapon, and if you run into enemies that are weak to fire, it could potentially deal like 200 damage per hit. So yeah, that's it's always a good weapon to have, and it has a nice hitbox.
So Vlad is opting to explore the arena. I think the thought process here is keep doing checks until you find the major, and you hope that it's Manticore or Devil or Curly. Whatever that is, you just go ahead and bail.
Or it's just a copy of the blue book. I mean, he saw the blue book behind the waterfall. So he either finds a rush soul that he needs to get the blue book, or he finds a copy of the blue book itself, and he could potentially be in go mode. Let's see. Oh, those Leon is not being nice. At least they are minus attack.
Ooh, hang on though. Oh! Oh
Nice.
my god, it's like we're playing Soten. Nova Skeleton with the KO. That was poison. That might have been plus attack too, but Vlad saved, so not a big deal at all. Good call. We've had a lot of really smart save splits from Vlad, and I think in general, this is just a very, very disciplined approach. You know, you don't know what kind of damage these enemies are going to be dealing with the stat rando. It's important to save periodically.
Yeah, you don't want to be sent back to a really old save, like, you know, you lost. Oh, it's Balmung finding. Wait, that's a Balmung. And Vlad just ditches it, like, nah, you know what? I don't need that.
I kind of agree. Vlad's got better weapons at this point.
So, let's see. So this is the worst room in the game. People should, I mean, if you don't know why, well, this is why. You need to slide. There are these Ernis, that's a copy of Leviathan, and these Medusa heads that petrify. Plus the spikes and the conveyor belts, and that is horrible. Oh, by the way, what Beric says is, oh no, well, this is a Legion. What Beric says is true. I mean, I don't think any of them have found Story yet. So maybe one of the exits of Story should be the exit that lives behind the waterfall.
Yeah, it's guaranteed that the final area is going to be Study, and then Study's going to wrap around a waterfall at this point. But which area is left on the table? What have we not seen?
Yeah, actually, we haven't seen the Story.
No, but I mean, like, which exit to get to the Study? Is it something in Clock Tower, for example? I don't know. Corridors flight check, I don't believe so. I think that's full cleared. Maybe the one in the middle, actually. The flight locked one, that could be an option.
Yeah, that leads that goes to the left. So yeah, that could be an option.
You're right, it goes to the left, it can't be that one.
Yeah, it can be Study, but it could lead to the waterfall.
Oh yeah, I guess it could, but then where would Study fit in? Kind of a mystery. We'll have to figure this out. Or, of course, Vlad just finds the final book and it's solved.
Floor block wall.
That one we saw.
Yeah. Maybe there was an exit on Clock Tower. I think we missed an exit on Clock Tower. You know where these, where there are the killer dolls before the boss fight. That leads also to the left. That's not an exit for Story.
I think you might be right about that. That's I think the leading candidate right now. That must have been a minus attack Legion. I didn't see the stats, but that damage was paltry. Vlad doing a good job. Gets a Gorgon. And a lot of experience, which could mean a lot.
What is this? Oh, just a Manator Soul. Yeah, oh,
not
that's
just a
probable
pointless canister, a low tier pointless canister.
That's sad. So, I don't think either of them left through the lower exit of the dance hall. I don't remember right now. Because I've seen them always just leave through the upper exit. Oh no, but they should have found dance hall from the lower side. So no. Let's see what's Vlad doing here. Oh no, that Succubus. Oh, be careful. He didn't quit out. He didn't quit out though. He could have gotten out of that by just quitting. Wait, what are you doing? There are no more checks here. The final check was the boss. Is he going to fight it again?
This is not worth doing. I mean, you gotta find the book first, surely, right?
Well, I think he's making sure that if he finds the book and the book is defeat arena boss, he's already got it, so he's in go mode. I mean, it's kind of a smart
This
move.
is a bad idea.
It's kind of a smart move, but at the same time, it is not. This is minus HP, minus attack, and it's resistant to curse, I believe. So yeah, not that. It's not that Legion does a lot of damage. Look, just 8. So yeah, it's an easy fight right now.
It's fine. From our perspective, it's totally fine, right? That's like going to be a 30, 40 second time sink, and Vlad gets a lot of levels. Has a comfortable lead right now. But my only thought process is maybe Vlad feels that he needs those levels for the end game. I think he could have done without revisiting, but who knows? If it's in the book, that's going to look like a genius play. This time around, saving afterwards, which is smart call.
Okay, so the flag lock exit of Castle Corridor leads to the lower part of inner quarters, so there is no way there to find the study. Oh, those Ludicans doing a lot of damage. Be careful, Vlad. Those are plus attack, you don't want that. So let's see what will Vlad do here. He can go to Graham yet, because, well, guessing is... Oh no, wait.
Okay, so Vlad loses. Interesting.
Okay,
I guess Vlad is not aware of the rules. This is disqualification for game number 1, sadly.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a while. Guess like, okay, so I killed everything and I have the soul. He sold the first 2 books, so maybe the 3rd book is just get this or that boss. But that is still guessing, and well, hey McBob, well he's actually losing because guessing is banned. Yeah.
Now, the only possibility, the only edge case to consider, let's say Vlad does a couple of guesses and they're wrong, and then he goes to find the book and is still ahead by the time that happens. A lot would have to go right for Vlad for that to be on the table. But if it does, would it be a DQ or not? I actually don't know. I think we were just collectively hoping that everyone would remember the rules and not guess.
Barry's just warned Vlad that guessing is banned.
I think it might just be an auto DQ even if the guess doesn't work. Like, you can't go into the Graham room without having seen all 3 books.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate because Vlad was playing... I mean, this is a brutal seed, right? Let's be clear. This is one of the tougher seeds we've seen. Yeah, this is a DQ.
Yep. So, I mean, he reset... I mean, he got the message that guessing is banned, so he now resets. That's okay. I mean, he's just... I think he avoided that because, I mean, he just didn't... we didn't even get to see what was the... the message on
I'm not sure about
Vlad's
this because
page.
now this gives Vlad a knowledge advantage. So Vlad now knows that he doesn't have to fight any more bosses and he doesn't have to pick up any more canisters. So for that reason alone, that's why you can't just go in there and see if it works, because it gives you knowledge you wouldn't otherwise have. We'll have to talk about it, but my vote's in favor of a DQ here. I think you got to give it to Bram by default. And it's really unfortunate because Vlad did a great job surviving this gauntlet.
Yeah, this has been brutal in terms of the stats, Rando. What up here? There was a gray soul, I believe. There was no book here. So the only copy of the book we've seen so far, it's in Reservoir behind the waterfall. So what other exits are there for Reservoir? I don't think we've seen the vanilla entrance, I believe. So yeah, this is actually, I get what they're going through, just going through all these places, trying to figure out, okay, so where could be that final exit to the story, because that's where surely will lead behind the waterfall. And whatever entrance they find, yeah, exactly, Delta Toast, the third book, if the first two books are souls, then the third book is a boss, always. And if you go build bosses, then you automatically, I mean, you just fulfill the requirement for the final book. But still the rules are clear in that you have to see the book, and if you save split after, then that's okay, then you saw the book, it's okay.
And we're getting a clarification here from Mick Bob in the chat. The wording of the rules is apparently, and this seems correct to me, you have to get all the books before you enter Grand. See, it's like I said before, it's like before you enter, it's like before you cross the finish line into the Grand Room, you have to hit all the checkpoints. In this case, it's the 3 books. So the moment that Vlad entered the room without all 3 books, that was a DQ. So this is all just a formality at this point. I think the only possibility left for Vlad to quote-unquote even this up is if Bram either makes the same mistake, let's hope that doesn't happen, or forfeits for some other reason.
Then that would be a tie.
Yeah, then I guess it's, I guess you just shift to a best of 1, or maybe just a best of 3 do-over. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe second race defines who wins this.
And yeah, Delta in chat brings up an interesting point. Guessing is banned, right? Because it gives you information you're not supposed to have access to. You can't go into the Grand Room. However, the way that the Rando is set up, 1 book is guaranteed to be a boss, 1 book is guaranteed to be a soul, and the other one is a 50-50. Now that's part of the reason guessing was banned in the first place, because it makes the odds quite high that a guess is actually successful if you have 2 books.
Well,
but our runners can absolutely use that knowledge to their advantage. Like if you have 2 books, and they're both souls, you know the final one has to be a boss kill, you can then prioritize fighting bosses more than you would otherwise. So little things like that are definitely fine.
Yeah, Vlad here desperately trying to get behind the waterfall. And, well, the thing is, exactly like you said, I mean, if 2 of the books are souls, then, by elimination, yes, the 3rd book has to be a boss fight, right? And if you just kill all bosses before Graham, then, yeah, you've just met the requirements from the 3rd book. Doesn't matter which boss it is, right? But, well, the rules were clear in the terms of, okay, you have to get all 3 books. Read them at least once. Oh, yeah, it's sad, actually. Oh, no, Vlad taking a huge death here from the Lubicans. Oh, Lubican's just being nasty this feed.
So I'm not sure, we've been thinking so much about some of the rules issues on the right side. The left side, Bram just finds their red soul. I'm not sure how much progress they've made in terms of finding a rush. We've yet to see one, I believe, on either player's screen.
Wait a second, we never saw the right exit for top floor, right?
I actually don't know. We did see the one behind the wrecking ball, at least.
I don't remember. I remember Vlad entered from the left, and then he went on to the warp room, right? So, I mean, he's going to maybe make this check here to see what it is. Maybe this is a copy of the blue book. Let's see. There it is. I mean, there it was the whole time. It was beat the cemetery, but he had already done the requirement, but alas, it's a little too late.
Now, a little bit of an out-of-race update. You'll notice that Bram paused there for like 20 seconds. Bram is now aware of the Vlad DQ. and was asking if they should finish or not. So they know that so long as they don't forfeit, they're gonna win. So yeah. In a way, you can kind of lean back and relax if you're Bram. You got a W in the bag. The only thing you got to worry about is persistence. You know?
Yeah,
you got to just make sure that's
This hit has proven that it's all about persistence. Quite an endurance test from both runners here.
the only possible way this doesn't work is if Bram gives up, and they're not going to give up. So yeah, congrats to Bram. I'll actually go ahead. Actually, if I do that, it might affect the restream. So just go ahead and imagine there is a candle lit on the bottom left for Bram. That is 1, with 1 more to go to move on.
But which, I mean, even if Vlad forfeits, Braham still needs to finish the seed, so it counts as a win, right? Even if Vlad was DQ'd. Yeah, one person has to finish the race even if the other runner DQs or forfeits. If they both forfeit, and then it will go to the second race, and well, then I don't know what happens if both forfeit on both races. They both lose? What should happen there? I've never actually seen that situation. In the meantime, Vlad found a copy of Blue Book at top floor, so they didn't need to worry about. Oh, nice killer mantle drop for Bram. So they didn't need to worry about finding the entrance to the back of the waterfall. Like Jupiter said. So I mean, there won't be any rush soul unless it was extremely needed. So if the check here on top floor wasn't the Blue Book, there would have been a blue rush soul somewhere in the canisters.
Yeah, to your point, maybe we were thinking about it the wrong way. Maybe a rush soul was never required at all. And maybe we'll find one in, like, a chaotic realm, for example. It's possible. So, yeah, good call for Bram to just doing other checks to see what they can find. And, yeah, duplicate blue. Now, remember, if anyone's just tuning in here for the first time, Vlad is technically ahead on the feed, but has been disqualified from this race, just this one race. We've still got game 2 right after this. Because they guessed when guessing is banned this year. As a costly misunderstanding, would have won otherwise. So Bram not too far behind, actually.
There's the story.
Okay, so you were exactly right. We did not do this other side of top floor. And by the way, just as a routing recommendation, I think if you ever find a top floor, before you go right up, just go across the hallway to see where that leads you. Because this one's very easy to forget if you save it for later. Yeah, so both runners, if they had known this was here, they could have just gotten the Waterfall Blue Book like 20 minutes ago. Would have been a huge time save.
So now because we know, I mean, we know there won't be, oh, that's a Satan thing right there. So we know there won't be a Blue Book copy in...
Oh, by the way, speaking of Blue Book, I think you might have seen it, I did not. What did the Blue Book actually say? Like, what's the required blue here? Or the required boss? Did you get a peek at it? It was the boss from Cemetery. God, that feels like ages ago. I think it was 50 minutes ago at this point, yeah. So that Great Armor fight back in the day, when our runners were rocking the Lightning Doll and like a regular knife, that was the requirements all along. Plus HP, plus attack Julius. Oh no. Healing situation is not fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worst kind of Julius you can get in this stat rando. Because, I mean, not only he hits like a freight train, but he also takes a lot of damage to be taken down. And he has no elemental weaknesses. Ooh, Ooh, there's a weapon to the face for Vlad, and he goes back to the save room. In the meantime,
I'm not
Vlad
sure we've
is lower.
mentioned that when it comes to the enemy stat rando, for regular enemies it's truly random. But for boss fights, each boss is guaranteed at least one improvement, one enhancement. So even if a boss is like, minus defense and weak to curse, for example, they're gonna get some kind of an improvement no matter what. So it's more likely than not that a boss is tougher than normal.
Well, hopefully, I mean, in the end, I do hope they get like a minus defense, minus HP chaos. Because plus defense chaos are just pure nightmare fuel. You don't want that.
I think our runners have earned it at this point. A nice, relaxing chaos battle.
Yeah, I'll make sure to remember this same number to ban it from ever rolling another seed. Oh no, Bram, what are you doing? Why are you exiting this way?
Well, that's fine, right? Bran has the waterfall, or sorry, the top floor blue.
Bram got the top floor blue?
Oh, maybe not. Okay, well they'll find it right here then. Still fine.
Oh well, he's going for the checks here, so he'll find it. Yeah. Sadly, neither of them has found a catapult. That would have made this fight against Julius just so much easier. Because
well, honestly, Levitain is debatably better for this fight. There is a misconception that Julius is weak to dark normally. It's actually not true. Julius resists holy and that's it. So Caliburn is a little bit stronger, but Levitain has a better hitbox in terms of reach. So it's kind of a wash, like in glitchless speedruns, for example. We'll use the Caliburn. We actually go out of our way for the Caliburn, but if you have to use the Levitain, it's not that much slower. I think the main issue here is the plus HP. Julius, by default, has 6,000. You can and often do see 10,000 HP Julius's.
And
so,
well,
yeah, this can take ages.
He already does a lot of damage now. Add the plus attack on that mix. And well, this guy becomes the embodiment of what the Belmonts are supposed to be. Like a true terror for all the evil creatures in Dracula's castle. Definitely a fight you don't want to run into. Bram going for the grand fight now that he has blue book. He enters the room. He goes on to this cyanide phase 2. Oh, careful. That's a lot of damage.
Any more healing for Vlad? Maybe not.
No, I don't think they have any more healing. There
We're
was a
still
lot
on
of
phase
healing.
1. Okay, there we go. Phase 2.
And there goes the sub-weapons. So one thing about Julius is when he goes with minus attack, because his sub-weapons and the kicks, those actually hit for like 100. For some reason are not affected by the stat rando. They just deal a lot of damage. Ooh, careful with that axe.
Yeah, and that goes both ways. So if it's plus attack or minus attack, I believe martial arts and sub-weapons both are unaffected. I'm less sure about martial arts, but yeah, that means that if you have to take a choice between damage from a sub-weapon and damage from a whip, you take the sub-weapon damage.
Oh, speaking of whip damage from
close.
a whip. Speaking of damage from a whip, there goes the whip. And Vlad takes game over. So, for those joining in, yeah, Vlad has been, sadly, he got disqualified for only this race because he guessed. He entered the grand fight without reading the final book. And now all Bram has to do is find Julius and, well, actually get past Julius and then defeat Chaos. I'm curious, what will this chaos be like? Uh, this is what I call this last three bosses are what I call the stat casino, because yeah, it's usually something bad for the players. Let's see.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. The stat rando is impactful the entire run, but it's especially important on the final gauntlet of boss fights, Grand, Julius, and then Chaos.
I mean, yeah, there was this fight here in this tournament, and I think it was for Barracks. He found Muramasa, and Chaos was weak to Curse, so he was hitting like for like 800 with the Muramasa, and that was huge. I mean, that was like a 45 seconds Chaos. And here, Bram is doing the smart play and getting some healing, because the Julius fight isn't easy by any means. I mean, unless you get like a minus HP, minus defense, minus attack Julius. Yeah, it's always a tough fight. So, Jupiter, what would be your recommendation when going into the Julius fight? Like, how should people approach this boss?
Well, kind of the standard go-to strategy is to use a Rush Soul. It's so good on this fight because not only does it deal high damage, and it cuts through resistances if you have Manticore, but, it doesn't stagger Julius. Julius on phase 1 will stagger at the end of every 4 attacks. And that can slow down the fight a little bit. With a Rush Soul, that's less relevant. But neither runner has access to that, so I think, yeah, healthy use of Lightning Doll is good, Arc Demon is good here. And I think generally, you either want a weapon with really excellent range, or you want a quick auto-cancel, like Levitate. So I think both runners are handling this just fine. It's gonna be a tough one. That's how it goes sometimes.
60 damage per hit with the Lightning Doll for Vlad, and Bram doing actually decent damage with the Levitain and the Lightning Doll. It's doing a lot more damage than Vlad.
It's really interesting. The disqualification was such a shame because Bram's done a fantastic job catching up here. I mean, Vlad's on phase 2 and Bram's on phase 1, but still, Chaos is going to be an open question for sure. Might have a couple of deaths there, so this could have been anyone's race if it wasn't for that guess.
Yeah, that was sad. That was really sad. I mean, going in for the guess. I think maybe to avoid this in the future, maybe for other runners, when the race room is open, they should get a sort of warning that reminder of remember that guessing is banned. The guessing and the zips, the boat zip and the block zip, which, well, I technically don't know how to do them, so yeah, I don't think I will ever get disqualified for that.
That's another decision we made. There were a couple of inbounds zips that were allowed last year, and everyone kind of knew they were against the spirit of the rules. We're talking like half a second to a second of time, so very small, but they were cool tricks. However, since then, more significant inbound zips have been discovered. So, yeah, the community decided to just vote them all out entirely.
Oh, Vlad is just on 14th health right now. He might be going to... Oh no, he's finished.
GG. Comes out with a win, but as chat mentions, no healing for Chaos. Honestly, no healing for the Chaotic Realm itself. It'd be tough, never mind Chaos.
That's really bad, not getting any healing at all. I mean, you could. I mean, if you get a nasty chaos, you'll get stuck in that boss fight for a long time. Like finding here a ghost, so it was the only check in Chaotic Realm. So one thing that can happen, and this actually happened once, is that, for example, a major progression soul like Skula could be locked behind Ram. That can totally happen, right? And in that case, well, I mean, It's not like you're gonna get banned for not finding Skula before Graham. You just have to, get all the books and stuff, and that's it. Because Skula is needed for this part here, where Vlad is. If they don't have Skula, they will not be able to reach this other room.
We've got 2 more checks here for Vlad. Vlad actually opting not to do this check. Okay, never mind. Oh, that's a positron rifle. Vlad, you take that. No, Vlad. Take the positron. Not that it matters, but come on. I don't agree. Positron is a multi-hit with not one, but... Or, no, maybe actually, is it just holy in this game or just fire in this game? Let me double check. Either way, it's a good combat element. Let's see.
I think it's fire, but it hits like...
Yeah, positron is fire only. You're absolutely correct. So yeah, it's a fire gun that can triple hit. It's got good range. It can be so nice for the eyes here. I'm very surprised Vlad didn't pick it up. It's also good for Chaos 1.
And with the backdash, I mean, you can just fire once, backdash, and fire again really quick. It's a nice weapon for Chaos. I mean, well, not for the small orbs that spawn, but... Yeah... I mean, with Leviathan, they can just switch from Positron to Leviathan to repel the small orbs, and then switch back to Positron to a lot of damage. Okay, so here we go. Here comes the last...
Luigi, I believe you can actually just fly over the final guard with Bat in that room, and then suspend out to be extra safe.
Okay, this is horrible. This is a plus attack, plus defense, resist, curse, Chaos.
Nice. The triple buff Chaos.
Of
One
course.
final ordeal for these very patient runners.
Of course. I mean, if there's ever, I mean, let's hope this is the last horrible seed that has ever been rolled in this tournament, right? It can get any worse than this, right?
Well, it's just one of those things where the preset really requires that you either play on top of your game or you do what Bram did. And you invest a little bit of time to get more resources. So Bram is honestly in a great position here. Vlad is really good at the Chaos fight in general. But doing Chaos with no healing, plus attack, plus defense is brutal for anybody. So I think Bram has a natural advantage here. Like, even without the DQ, I would say that Bram is actually ahead right now.
Yeah, that core is going to take like a lifetime to take down.
Oh!
Yeah, talk about plus attack, plus defense. Chaos. Ouch.
The first of many. The first of many to come on both sides, I think.
Oh yeah, here we go. So let's see if Bram finds the positron rifle and decides to go get it. That's a smart move, I believe. Yeah, Vlad going back for the refight here on the statues. Leviathan doing a nice damage actually. I mean, 109 isn't bad. I mean, it's not one, but yeah. Well, we will see once he gets to fighting the core, the Chaos core. We'll actually see what the fight is really about.
Now, interesting observation here from Luicho. Is it a bad idea to go ahead and... Oh, it's a minus attack final guard. Well, there you go, Luicho. That's how you get across. You just run in. But yeah, is it a bad idea to go ahead and fight the final bosses without having at least the experience from Balor or from Legion? I think that's true. I think in 2023... you really want to find at least one of those bosses. Vlad! Alright, so Vlad saved 1.3 seconds avoiding that check and missed out on a Demon's Mail. You gotta do those checks. But yeah, Balor and Legion give a huge amount of experience. I'm gonna double check, but I think it's 14k and 16k experience respectively. Let me avoid misinfo by double check.
I mean, one
Legion is... Oh, it's 12k and 16k. So 12k from Legion, 16k from Balor. It's a lot of experience, a lot of free levels. I think it probably is worth exploring until you find one. Or unless you have really top-tier gear.
Oh, Vlad taking the snake on his back, and he goes back to the save room. So
Yeah, Bram's ahead. Bram's ahead. Bram's got healing. Bram's got better armor.
Bram found below.
Bram's got better weapons.
He fought below, right? And there's this. What's he using here at Yatsuzuna?
I believe this is Yatsutsuna. Bram
Yes.
also picked up a red Minotaur in the shop. Now, the traditional view on red Minotaur, spread by people like myself, is that it's not that great because it's too expensive. And I think traditionally that's been true. But now that Manticore, etc. are no longer guaranteed, stuff like red Minotaur is going to make a comeback. Because like in this situation, having that knockout punch at the start of Chaos 2 is going to be a huge help. It's really going to carve into the eyes, do a lot of damage. Maybe you even save it for the core. And if you happen to have a lot of MP to use and no rush soul to use it with, red Minotaur is going to become one of your best options. We're also seeing wooden golem use for Bram here. That's the yellow equipped. That'll be more MP, aka more red Minotaur. Oh, and Vlad has that as well. Good. Okay.
Oh, careful, Vlad. Vlad taking one of those small
Vlad's dead. Damn. Oh, he's perfectly and exactly dead. 154 HP, 154 damage. Sad.
Yeah, this case, I mean, this hit has been cursed, like, the whole time. Everything has been plus HP, plus attack. And, well, of course, Chaos with the triple buff, plus attack, plus defense.
Now, I said that Bram was doing better with healing, and that is true, but not that much better. He's actually out. He's out of healing.
He's out of healing? Oh, that's bad. Look, that Leviathan hit for 3 on the core. There we go. So, yeah, people in the chat, feel free to take a seat, you know, relax, sit back, because this is going to take a while. You know, the core with 2 eyes down, Bram was hitting for 3 on the core. And it's a plus HP, no, it's not a plus HP. Thankfully, it's not a plus HP Chaos. Thankfully, it's not also a plus HP Chaos, or this was going to take forever.
Yeah, to build on your point from earlier about like how this is like a chaos casino, I'll ballpark some numbers here. I think the odds of Vlad winning per attempt is 5%. The odds of Bram winning per attempt is about 10%. At some point, someone's gonna roll and get that successful pull on the slot machine, but it's gonna take a while.
Bram?
I guess Bram burned a lot of this healing on Julius, which is fine, but you can see why saving it here is ideal.
Yeah, I mean with plus attack bosses, it becomes more of a, you know, Bram going for the positron rifle strat. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that I mean, these fights become more of an endurance fight, and more than just slashing away. You have to pick your attacks carefully, because the boss is just going to last too damn much, and well, you have to be, I mean, you have to be persistent, and it's going to fall eventually, right? And if you want to save healing for Chaos, yeah, you have to be extra careful with Julius, especially because this was a plus HP, plus attack Julius before. So, yeah. This positron rifle doing quick work of the statues.
This is a really good start from Vlad here. This might be the run.
Oh, the Leviathan hit him for 5 with 3 eyes. And Bram moving on to phase 2. Well, thankfully those spikes don't get any collisions until after they have been shot, so that's actually nice.
Does anyone in chat happen to know if Chaos rolls plus HP, does that apply to the statues and to the eyes both? I believe it does. But I want to clear that up.
So, Vlad here is hitting for 12 with 4 eyes closed. Yeah, he still has to be careful with that snake. Ooh.
Now, we are working with vanilla HP this time around. It's 3,000. Vlad's got all 4 eyes down and only doing 12 damage. This is one of those situations where having some kind of a yellow boost for offense, Lubricant especially, but even like Minotaur Golem or Triton would be a huge help here. Alright, that's it for Vlad GG.
He's dead. Yep. Yeah, sadly none of them never found a rush soul.
Would Headhunter be worth it? I hate to say it, but I think both players would love to see Headhunter in this situation.
I think in this
like
situation...
plus 3 attack? Huge.
Yeah, in this situation, any boost to stats is actually welcomed, as well as any healing, except maybe the mid strip. But yeah, I mean, like everything works right now. Bram going back to Yatsuna. Maybe he goes back for the Positron phase 2. So will this be the fight? It was a clean phase 1 for Bram.
Comment here from Amadeus in the chat. Positron seems tough to use on Chaos. This has always been the big downside of Positron. Like, the upside is what you're seeing right now. Insane damage per second with those multi-hits on the eyes, especially the lower eyes.
Ooh,
and if you happen to have the Medusa Head Soul, it's really good for the top eyes as well. But you're right, it's got an awkward hitbox that juts forward, so it doesn't protect Soma in the front. It's awkward. However, what you can do, and it seems slow, but I'd like to see more runners try it out. When the coast is clear, you switch to Positron, get like 5 hits in, then you immediately switch back. And you are losing time in the menu, but it makes things a lot more consistent.
Switch to the Yatsuna or Leviathan, there we go.
Yeah, either way, this is a good call.
Yeah, he has to clear away from those orbs. Oh, be careful with this big orb here from the snake. That actually hits for like a billion hits with the plus attack buff. Plus an 8 damage on the core with 3 eyes closed. That's huge. Well, Bram just burned through his last healing. His only healing, actually.
That's
no,
GG
he's dead.
for Bram. We go again.
Yeah, so he only has a pudding for this fight. He only has a pudding for this fight, and it's his only healing. Sadly, none of them found a soul like maybe Dryad or the Succubus. That would have actually provided a lot of healing for any of them. But well, that's just how it goes. So this is the kind of seed that, I mean, it tells apart like good players from great players, and maybe from, I mean, because it's all about, I mean, not fainting in the face of this monstrosity that has proven to be this seed. Oh, the right man for hitting for like 500? Yes, look at that. So like you said, Jupe, I mean, this red mino here being used, like, I mean, it would have been considered before, like in the previous tournament where the main focus was just find a Rose Soul and you're good to go.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, there's no end in sight here. I mean, the thing is, if Vlad finishes, we still gotta wait for Bram to finish.
Yeah.
In a way, it all comes down to Bram. And Bram does not have the number of resources I was expecting before the Julius fight. We could be another 30 minutes. And you think I'm exaggerating? I assure you I am not exaggerating. Look, here's the funny thing is, Aria's got a lot of healing souls. It's got Succubus, where you get +5 HP per hit. It's got Persephone, which is good healing on contact with any enemy or hitbox. Really nice. Laura Une can be decent in a pinch. Dryad is very good on this fight. Our runners have access to none of those, which is really upsetting.
Uh-oh. What's going on, Bram?
Uh-oh.
Are you quitting, Bram? No.
All right, we're gonna have to figure this out. We either reset the best of 3 or we just move to a best of 1 because get a DQ for Vlad and a do not finish from Bram. Bram did not finish. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, you know, in a way, this is a strategic play. It's like save your energy for the next 30 minutes or whatever, how long it takes for Chaos to cooperate, and just go to the next game. I get it, but very sad. Now, the thing is, Vlad, I don't think is checking race time, which is fine. I mean, I don't check race time. I know a lot of other runners don't check race time during the race. But, I think 90 minutes in, hopefully he takes a peek and sees that it's over. It's time to move on to game 2, the final game.
Okay, so I think we will be getting another seed prepared for these runners. Hopefully this next seed will be, I mean, if they decide to go for next game, hopefully this next seed will be a lot more tame in terms of the stat rando, because this was just a nightmare seed. Like, you know, you thought there was a hard difficulty to Aria of Sorrow? No. This is hard difficulty mode for Aria of Sorrow. This seed right here. Yeah, Bram sadly did not finish. So let's see if both players forfeit play another match. So Bram says he's fine doing another seed. We'll just have to wait for Vlad to check race time. In the meantime, yeah, we were hoping. Oh no, Vlad just encountered death. So we were hoping that Chaos was going to be a lot more friendly for these runners, but no, it just proved to be the ultimate test for both of them. What an ordeal this seed has been.
I have some news that creates mixed feelings for me.
Yep.
And that news is, according to the rules that we're using, in the case of a double forfeit or a double disqualification, it does not go to a best of 1. Instead, it's as if the match didn't happen. We just start fresh.
Oh.
So that 90 minutes was a good, solid warm-up. Now we're getting started with the set. Get pranked, everybody. Game 1 coming up soon.
Okay, well, let's see it this way. On the nice side of things, I think this looks like maybe the worst possible seed to ever show up in this tournament. And well, I don't think anybody's going to ever see a seed that difficult again.
The seed wasn't that. I mean, look, we have seen some bad seeds. It was a rough one, but I think the main issues was just lack of resources and no healing soul. But yeah, the DQ hurts. Because I think Vlad might have stuck with it without the DQ.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, he says like he knows like we have like 90 minutes for each race, so it wasn't looking good. So that's why he took the forfeit in the end.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch on over here. We'll have another match coming up. We're gonna sort things out in the Discord. And game 2, we'll call it game 1. Game 1, number 2 is coming up after a quick break.
Yep. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Okay, so we're back. Both players have the updated seed here. We'll be getting started shortly. Now, of note, Danozuke rolled the seed this time, so I'm fully expecting for this to be the redemption race. We're gonna have a claim to start. It's gonna be 45 minutes. Winner wins in 45 minutes, calling my shot right now. It's gonna be a zip seed.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'll roll last hit as well. So
Oh, never mind, it's over. All right, GG. Another 90-minute adventure coming up. Hopefully it's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. It won't be that bad, I'm sure. I mean, that was the worst seed I could have ever rolled in my entire life. So it will not get any worse than that. I hope so. Yeah, we'll just see. Okay, so... Yeah, we're just waiting for the runners to get ready.
Okay, the
And-
countdown has started. About 10 seconds to go.
Yeah. So there we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Yep. None of them going, right? Why are they not going? That can drop flame 100%. Yeah, sure. That was gonna happen.
Why aren't they going? Wait a minute. No. The delay, it's not this bad. It's 30 seconds. Hang on. Maybe it is this bad. Okay, it is this bad. Wow.
Oh no.
In fact, this will be a good chance to test how bad is the restream delay. 46 seconds of restream delay.
Okay,
All
we
right.
have Leviathan, Muram,
Oh,
and Excalibur on
insane
the
shop,
starting
insane shop.
There we go.
Oh, the shop of the gods. All right, Excalibur, Muramasa, Rahab. They start with a grunting, which I mean they sold. That's correct. But
Yeah.
poison damage.
My seeds
Yeah.
have been redeemed. Thank God. Well, you called it. This is going to be a 30-minute seed or something. Look at that.
Oh, you can't give me
Excalibur.
credit. It's all up to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rolled a good one. At least to start. Let's see how it goes.
So Vlad opting to go for the Leviathan and Bram going for the Excalibur. Just a second here, please. I'll be right back.
Oh, early Panther this time. So it looks like Bran picked up Excalibur only, and then Vlad got both the Excalibur and the Muramasa. Which is nice, because early on before Backdash, Excalibur is still very strong, but it's slow. I think Muramasa is going to be a better weapon to start, especially if certain bosses are weak to Curse. Oh, I see, never mind. Correction from Luicho, it was Leviathan Muramasa from Vlad. Although, I don't know, that was a good Manticore from Bram. Nicely done.
And that was a good Manticore also for Vlad. Oh, be careful with that small spiky thing in the way.
Look at how big the Excalibur is. He hits the Skeleton Knight and accidentally hits the ceiling. Alright, early kicker.
Well, so far this just by the start of the shop, it looks just so good in comparison. And I see a lot of elemental weaknesses and resistances as well for several enemies across the game. So this looks really good so far. Let's see, what are the checks here on the chapel? Just a fruit up there. And Bram going for these checks here. Stunning potion. And let's see what's in this other side. Well, these are be bone pillars, but at least they are minus attack. Let's hope the fish heads from the reservoir are just as tame as these ones. Yeah, Excalibur is just like, I don't know, it just makes quick work of everything. Because it works as a hammer, and hammers have no type. So... let's see. Bram here going for this all the checks at the... oh, there's a red book right there, but it's bat locked.
Yeah, we're gonna
you
have to
cannot
find
get
that first.
Or find a copy of red book.
That's also a check you gotta remember. If you see that early on, it can be easy to forget. You'll have to come back for it later. Hopefully both runners remember. This is a reasonably stacked castle corridor. I'm sure we'll find Malthus here somewhere.
Jagnaso for Vlad and Bram as well, and there's a
random were-jaguar, huh? That's a good one. Not great, but good. Now, I was talking before about how certain blue souls, because of the lack of a guaranteed rush option, are going to get a buff here this year. Cognazo is not one of them. Cognazo is just so bad. The candidate for worst blue, I don't think it's quite the worst, but it's ultra low tier. It's only really useful as a JoJo reference, sadly. Maybe someday.
Oh, this
Find
is huge.
some kind of secret tech like we did with Were Tiger.
This is huge. Bram finding the headhunter side here in the underground cemetery, which was right at the end of Castle Corridor.
Now this is interesting.
Be careful.
Very similar situation to last scene, where our runners find Cemetery at the end of Castle Corridor and don't have Malthus, so have to just fight the boss and bail. Kind of a deja vu moments.
Well, at least they now have better weapons for this boss, so they can just take it down really quickly. Bram with this, I mean, massive Excalibur, hammer, sword. I mean, he doesn't have to really jump that high to attack the headhunter. He just have to swing the sword and that's it. Vlad opting for the Muramasa.
Good fight, Giant Skeleton. I would actually maybe consider leaving here. But alright, Bram's gonna go for this check. The problem is, yeah, I mean, look at that damage. Might lose out on that experience. Just a Warhammer.
Just a Warhammer. Well, it can be sold at the shop. Maybe it's valued something.
He's dead. Yep, GG.
The Reapers. Yeah, you have to be careful with those Reapers if you don't have any form of
I haven't agreed with a lot of the routing calls this set so far. I think much like last time Vlad revisited Legion after dying, you gotta come back later. I mean, you'll have to come back later for sure if you're Bram. Once you have access to the top checks, because there are two things here. Odds are pretty high, they're pretty good. I think this is just a time sink for no reason.
Yeah, I think he's just going to kill the headhunter for the shop upgrade. I mean, getting a shop upgrade this early in the seed could be a huge if they
I feel like it's unnecessary.
killed.
I mean, they already have access to 3 top tier weapons, and that might open up some armor and healing, but you gotta come back. But look, it's fine. Ultimately, it's not gonna take that long with Excalibur. But yeah, just something to think about. You know, is this the right route or not?
In the meantime, Vlad is going back to explore the rest of the castle corridor. Maybe try to find out, I mean, things they might have left behind. Because they just entered Chapel right away, and Chapel led to this, the back part of the castle corridor. So there are some checks here that they missed. There's the Skull Key, which is not good for anything. It was just a debug item, but there it exists. So there we go. So what's up here? Just a mind up, rather useless. I think that's a broadsword. And what is this? It's Malphas. Hey, look at that.
So there we go, pretty early.
The mid-step is the worst healing item in the game, but funny enough, it usually sells for a lot in the shop. Usually, I'm not saying this is the case. I mean, it sometimes can be sold for like nothing.
It's apparently a pun in Japanese, that's why Tasty Meat it's 29. But thankfully in later games, I believe starting with Portrait of Ruin, it heals 290 instead of 29, so the pun is retained, but it's actually a useful healing item.
Well, thankfully. Speaking of healing, hey, come on, Vlad, why are you leaving the T behind? I mean, you should get any healing you can get your hands on.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, we don't know what the endgame bosses are going to be like. I mean, if they find another plus attack Julius, yeah, you'll need all the healing you can get your hands on.
Okay, so this is a situation where Vlad's actually in a much better position than Bram's going to be for this boss. Both Levitain and Muramasa are top choices for Balor. In fact, debatably the two best. I mean, after Claim and Final Sword, of course. Both used in speedruns for different categories.
Oh, look at that! His plus HP weak to fire. Vlad.
Oh yeah, that Levitain is doing some crazy damage.
Yeah, look at that.
This is the importance of weaknesses on display right here. Even at a low level versus a late game boss, Levitain doing triple-digit damage because of the elemental weakness.
Yeah, this is a totally doable Balor. And with Malphas, yeah, it can be done. So, Bram finding the inner quarters as well, and well, there goes phase 2 for Vlad. That was a really
good fight for Vlad.
Phase 2, yeah, good fight. A nice soul as well. That slime can make quick work of the ice in the chaos fight. Oh, Bram skipped the cream puff that was in the other room, I believe. Yeah, that was a real phase 2 for Balor. The elemental weaknesses are just, I mean, you have to use them as best as you can. I mean, if you get the element to which the boss is weak, it would be dumb not to use it, right? I'm going for the fight and he's going with the Legion Laser.
That's a good choice. Very strong attack. Expensive, but no real use for MP otherwise right now. And you can see just the weight of that sword and the lack of an auto cancel, making this fight a lot tougher for Bram.
Yeah, this is going to take a while here from Bram's side. Yeah, because it's not even hitting the eye from below. You have to stand up. You risk getting punched. Well, Balor hits for a lot of damage. He's one of the later bosses of the game. Yeah, finding him this early is not really that good. So Vlad gets a huge lead with the Leviathan here. Let's see, that's some rotten meat for Vlad there. What's on this other side? It's gray. It's gray.
Oh, that's good. And hopefully Bram picks that up soon too. That's going to be a bigger help for Bram than it is for Vlad currently. But I think both runners will end up using Excalibur long term. So Vlad's happy to find that.
Let's see. There. What's he aiming for? He buys a copper plate.
You see a red Minotaur in the shop again. Getting copper plate, which is the one offensive, or so yeah, armor option in the shop. A lot of good offensive options. That's the only armor choice. So I think it was a good purchase, actually. Much better than having nothing equipped.
And Bram just finished the Balor fight. Well, it took him a lot more than Vlad did, just because of that elemental weakness to fire. So it was a. I mean, if you get such an assortment of elemental swords, which are actually top tier weapons, I think you should try to aim and get one of each, right? Just it will just cover like the most of all the elemental weaknesses that are in the game. Bram chose to buy Excalibur or the Leviathan? Yeah, I mean he chose that, but he didn't. He hasn't found the Gravekeeper soul. So yeah, Excalibur is just a super heavy weapon. Ooh, be careful. You don't want to die in this spot.
Oh, Bram's gonna be real careful here.
Yeah,
Go ahead and see Mina ASAP, I think.
Yeah, he's got to go see Mina.
I mean, so honestly, Vlad's in a much better position in a lot of ways. Vlad's got a lot more healing to work with. Bram's had to blow pretty much everything. Vlad's got better weapon selection. Vlad's made more progress. And I think largely that was coming down to the weapon selection at the start. Getting those 2 auto cancels early has really paid dividends for Vlad. So good shop call. It was well done and it's paid off.
Oh, that's a Succubus soul for Vlad.
Okay, so we are gonna complete the scene. If you have Succubus, even if we're talking plus HP, plus attack, plus defense chaos, Succubus is so good that with a multi-hit like Muramasa, our runners will survive. Might take a while. We're not going to see a double forfeit for sure.
And by the way, we just Vlad, he finds Skola, and just before he just said hi and bye to Creaking Skull, which I don't believe either player. I mean, Bram still hasn't fought Creaking Skull. Nope. None of them fight Creaking Skull at the start of the seed. Hi Creaking Skull, bye Creaking Skull.
Minus HP Creaking Skull, yikes. Poor guy.
You know the irony, right? It was weak to stone and it was being hit with a giant stone at the end of that sword. See, Bram here going
silver plate for Vlad, much better defense now.
There's a coffee down there. And now that Skula is here, okay, so Bram sees the Skula canister. So just have to get up there and hit it. Nope. Okay, there we go. Now both the runners have Skula and Bram just decides to go back.
That's a fine call. Eastern often doesn't pay off. Let's see how it goes for Vlad here. There's a canister. Bat, keep that in mind. We'll see if that's the required red or not, if there is a required red.
Oh, this is a huge finding from Bram. I mean, finding gardens early, all you have to do is remember where the entrance is. Because sometimes runners, you can get lost trying to find this place. Like, okay, where is it? I have not seen it. So it's just a huge waste of time in the end. Trying to find the gardens.
Eastern is looking bad. Vlad found a gun. 2 more checks to go. Meanwhile, what did Bram pick up there? It was some kind of a canister. I think it was Big Golem. Big Golem and Shadow Knight is a great blue. Debatably the best familiar in the game. I would say so. Others would say Creaking Skull. But it's one of the 2.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage, and it's not that MP expensive. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but not that much. Yeah. It's cheap, actually. And Bram finding the clock tower. Well, now that they have Skula, they can just explore the entirety of clock tower.
Eastern, a total and complete bust, except for maybe Bat. Which again, keep that in mind.
Well, at least every item they get here, it's an item they can just sell at the store. Maybe if they get any healing, like with the store expansions, Yeah, that could be like the best option for the end game. Where last seed, you know, it proved that hey, you need a lot of healing for this. I mean, you cannot go empty-handed into these fights unless you're going for like a, I don't know, you have perfected completely the Lubican strat to go with 1 HP and never get hit. That would be huge, but this is not the case. Oh, Bram, be careful. Those matters hit for a lot. Oh, they don't have slime.
Bram! Bram!
They
Bram,
didn't even
no.
have Giant Bat. What? Why?
Alright, so you can just warp back to, here. Oh! Bram! Anyway, so Vlad's in garden now.
Yeah, so you know what would be sad if for some reason Bram would have dropped from the warp room here on the castle corridor and one of the zombies would have actually touched him.
Or honestly, zombies can have plus defense or plus HP, and Panther doesn't kill them in one shot. That would have been a death. Yeah, scary.
So let's see what I mean. There's a grave. I think that's Gravekeeper. Yeah, that's Gravekeeper, and now Bram will finally be able to use Excalibur a lot better.
And finally, a backdash for Bran. That's gonna upgrade Excalibur to a top tier.
Now Bram returning to the clock tower to get his revenge on these Medusa heads that almost killed him. Now these Valkyries are plus attack, and the Medusa heads are plus attack, so ooh, that was really close before. I mean, you could have died because of that. Also, this is an empty clock tower.
Bram on the wrong pixel here. The way this works, you gotta be pretty close to the center, or else you'll just bounce back and forth. But yeah, maybe the strat here is either you go up to the right to see where that leads, or you just go to the boss right away. And I think this is better what Bram's doing, because you'll get a boss kill and an entrance. So 2 for 1 kind of a deal.
Bram finding the hammer on that breakable, after that breakable ward right there. And Vlad just going back to the safe room. I mean, I think he realized, okay, so there are no checks here. Why am I going down there? One thing to note, I mean, even if there are no checks, that doesn't mean like maybe it's just an empty room. And it can sometimes have an item. So who knows? Maybe there's a claim hidden.
Now, Bram did not pick up that Mana Prism, and that might be a concern for HP, but I think you gotta go back and pick that up on the way out. Mana Prisms are very valuable. That's, you know, this is a Red Minotaur seed, for example. That's a free Red Minotaur. But here's the downside. Vlad getting comboed.
Ooh, that's huge.
So it's worth it, but if you die, that changes the equation.
Oh, look at that. Weak to slash and death. And no buffs to HP or attack whatsoever.
Great roll. Although, sadly, weak to slash is not applying here for Bram, because Excalibur does not have sword damage. It's neutral, like you mentioned. So, honestly, maybe better to switch, but this is going to be a friendlier fight for Vlad for sure. Although, still good, still good. Bram handled that well.
Vlad going for the Muramasa strat on death.
It's a Milligan? You could take. I would take the Milligan. I mean, any boss
take the Milligan.
can be weak to petrify, and it's not obvious how it works. Like, if an enemy can't normally be petrified, they won't turn to stone, but it can still affect their offense and defense. So I think it's worth grabbing.
And Bram finding the back of the waterfall here from Reservoir on the left exit of Clock Tower. Going for this warp room right here. but it had only a castle map. Vlad picking the militant sword. Maybe Vlad is aware that you can affect a boss by hitting them with militants, and I mean it will not petrify them, but yeah, will surely do a lot more damage.
Alright, so now we're gonna see Bram stock up. I didn't notice that rune ring in the shop before.
I think it just came after the. I mean, remember they have both boss expansion shops right now.
Yeah, that might be a death extension. Yeah. I wonder if anything else was added here in that extension.
There's also Americans at the shop. Oh no, wait. Yeah, there was also Americans at the shop. Okay, and Vlad finding Basilisk. So hopefully this will not be a Basilisk Seed. I mean, it's been so good so far.
Maybe the one downside, no books. Where are the books?
Yeah, there's only one book we've seen, which is the red book at the Batlock to check in Castle Corridor.
Yeah, still inaccessible.
Yeah, they cannot get that yet.
Okay, now there is a chance this becomes a Basilisk Seed. Now this soul has a reputation because it totally tanks your offense while equipped. So if you have to have Basilisk on for Graham, that requires some HP counting. You gotta know that Graham's got 1500 HP. You gotta get Graham as close as possible to minus 1500, and then and only then do you equip Basilisk. This year, with HP being possibly randomized, that can really make things interesting.
Yeah, imagine.
We'll see. We're a long ways away from that. Unlikely, but just keep in mind that is actually possible.
Missile Vein finding by Bram. So one scenario, as you said, it could be totally be. Imagine plus HP plus defense Graham, and it's a Basilisk Seed. That's just nightmare fuel. So Bram is
we had a momentary high five, and now we're getting a divergence, or not quite. Vlad changing up the route here. All right, so where would you go next here, Danazuke, in this situation?
So taking into account that they have no form of flight, I think. Oh, well, I should have to see that, but I think they have not gone for the. A little bit of a second, on my end. But we're back. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, is Bram gonna get baited by Eastern? Vlad's ahead now for sure. Let me switch the audio because this is not gonna work.
Okay, so I don't know if you got what I was saying last, like when you asked like which exit would I take. I would definitely go for the Skula check at the end of Castle Corridor. Now that both players have Skula.
Yep,
So
that's quick to get to.
That's totally logic, and it's an easy way to get there, just to get some info.
Alright, so Vlad finds Arena, and this is an interesting call because Vlad can do everything here. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Scratch that. No slide, no bat. So there's going to have to be one check orphaned, and then DDR room without bat's pretty slow. So I think maybe you could argue going back later is best. But Vlad's going to see what's here. All rock suit. Nice pickup.
One thing that they know for certain is that okay, they both fought Valor and they both fought Death and Headhunter, so it's not going to be either of those bosses in here if they go for the boss. So it could either be Big Golem, the Great Armor, or Legion. Bram sees the handgun but decides to go out.
Yes, this is the seed with the red book in the Batlock location in Corridor.
Vlad finds a Saturn's Ring. That's a good stat boost for Vlad. And putting on Bram's side, I cannot stress this enough, like how much important healing is in this new stat rando for with these new settings. I mean, whatever healing you can get your hands on. Oh, okay, so it was great armor for the arena fight. So any healing you can get your hands on is actually welcomed. You just keep that in mind for whenever you're playing with these settings. So nothing down there. Let's see if for Vlad there are any checks up here.
Wow, are we really gonna get both majors at worst room and at DDR? That would be hilarious.
Looks like
That would be so sad for Vlad. Oh, apparently Bram died. Where did Bram die? Oh my god, all the way back at death? Oh my god, that's terrible. I'll guarantee it was a fish head combo.
But I mean, fish heads are not plus attack on this.
It wasn't fish head. It was apparently a nightmare. Interesting.
Okay.
That's a lot of time lost. And now look, as a runner, there are some advantages, right? Obviously, you're losing minutes here, but if you remember where things are, you can reroute all of this very efficiently, only picking up what you absolutely need. But it's tough because remembering everything, you weren't expecting to be in this position. It's often easy to forget, which can put you further back. So it's a tough break for Bram.
Yeah, I mean the Nightmare could have comboed him into. I think there's a flesh golem in that room, and the flesh golems, they actually hit like twice in the same frame. Oh, so here's the check for.
Lol, slide at DDR. Comedy gold is the worst possible thing to find there. That's why you do DDR. You gotta get the dance pad out from time to time. If you orphan that could have been like a seed ender. So, good call from Vlad.
And now that he's got Skeleton Blaze, the slide, now he can go for this check.
Please be giant bat right here.
Oh no, he's getting comboed. Be careful. Please be careful.
Oh, it's a yellow. Oh. Yo, duplicate Skula. Let's go. What a goofy arena.
Sad. Sadly, he did not save after picking Skeleton Blaze, so he could have just save quit. But no. So he had to go through all that trouble just for a copy of Skula. Please.
So look, slide is obviously a very important pickup, but Vlad spent like 5 minutes in arena. I don't know if he's feeling happy with just slide from that. On the bright side, I want to come back later.
Well, on the bright side, I mean, finding slide is huge, but if he finds dancehall, because I mean, Bram saw dancehall before, but he had no way to enter the dancehall because he had no slide, right? So if Vlad gets to dancehall, he can explore the rest of dancehall, because I believe.
Yeah, it's always possible you find the other exit first, but if that one we saw is required, then arena is going to be very much worth it.
Oh, it's a plus attack giant worm, and plus attack nightmare.
The plus attack nightmare explains the death. You've got a certain number in the back of your mind, not an exact figure, but like, okay, here's roughly how much damage this enemy is gonna do. Then you run into it, it's plus attack, you're dead just like that. Happens all the time. You can't take anything for granted with stat rando.
Oh, Bram in a little bit of trouble here, getting past these waterfalls. And Vlad got cursed, so now he's out of MP. Okay. Okay, so these fish heads are actually tame in comparison to last seed. Oh, what am I saying? Yeah, there was no last seed, right? This is game 1.
This is game 1?
Yeah.
Game 1.1. Wait, oh, hang on. What was that drop? Did you see that? Is that a flame necklace?
Sadly, I blinked and couldn't get what the drop was.
I don't think it was that important, but it was a heart pendant. No,
It was
no,
a heart
no.
pendant.
That was behind the fish heads. The needles dropped something. It was a random copper plate. Okay, thank you. That's not important. In the vanilla game, the needles drop tasty meat.
Oh, that would have been so nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And let's see where Vlad. Oh, Vlad finds the story, so he can exit the story from the lower exit now that he has a slide. And what is this? Catoblepas, so, well, I mean, it could be useful if you run into an enemy that is weak to petrify, right?
Poison fist for Vlad. So they sold that runting at the beginning, and now poison is another option on the table again.
Okay, so Bram is about to find the story as well, but sadly for him, unless there is a copy of Skeleton Blaze here, or if they find Giant Bat, they will not be able to exit the story from the lower part.
Does Vlad not know about the dive kick on the candle strat? You can actually avoid pushing this box down.
Through here, it's Giant Bat
There it
at
is.
story. So Vlad can now technically go check that red book on Castle Corridor, unless they find a copy here, an Elfen Roll. Nice. Oops, get cursed. Be careful.
Yeah, I think at this point you can avoid the save. I agree with Vlad here. High level, good stuff.
That's a
Whatever the
definite.
boss is, it's not going to be a huge problem.
Where does this lead? It leads
Alright,
to
so that
Elfen.
slide from arena was actually pointless. So the whole arena could have been skipped. A little bit sad. But, on the bright side, slide is good for dodging, especially for Graham and Chaos. Hey, you know. It'll
Yeah, it has
improve survivability at least.
It has its utility. So yeah, never take any ability soul for granted. There are a lot of ropes here in this story. Oh no, this is Legion fight.
In a weird way, I think Vlad is probably happy to see this, because Legion's going to drop 12,000 experience on top of that Valor experience from earlier. And they've got Succubus. This is going to be a nice, comfy endgame.
But it's resistant to fire. It's weak to water elements, so he could switch to Rahab and
Good idea.
deal a lot more damage.
Vlad, stop. You know what would have been better there? Just switch to Excalibur.
Yeah.
I do like the dive kicks, though. Those were funny. Maybe not noticing the resistance to fire. Okay, there we go.
He went for Muramasa.
Wait, does Vlad not have Excalibur? Maybe he didn't buy it yet.
I don't think he buy it. So yeah, I maybe didn't pay attention to what the weaknesses were. Because yeah, it's definitely resistant to fire, but it said it's weak to water element. Oh, maybe they didn't get a Rahab.
A question from the chat: do you go for the Legion Soul? Typically not. Especially since nowadays it's not 3 soul books. The odds of Legion having something that might be like a free farm are even lower than before. So most runners just focus on getting like an optimal kill. And Bram's gonna have a much better fight here. You'll notice Excalibur is big enough to not only attack the shell, but also the core at the same time. Vlad has hardly done any damage to the core, which is the actual boss here.
Oh no.
No, Bram! Bram! Okay.
Bram realizing, okay, no, it's weak, it's resistant to fire. That's not the move. Okay, so Vlad almost done with the core here. You have to be careful though. Those lasers, they hit really hard. Okay, so Vlad is now done with this fight. Wait a second, they had a Succubus Soul and they just forgot to use it during the fight.
So Vlad comes out first, but Bram is not far behind here. This is gonna be
yeah, Bram is catching up.
There we go, yeah. Just a few seconds away.
Just a Zombie Soul for Vlad and a Gorgon Soul for Bram. So Trusty War Fatigues, yeah, they can be those can be sold at the shop. Maybe they're worth something. And yeah, Vlad is making the smart move here. He's going for Dance Hole. There are two checks here, but I mean,
we're still looking for the blue and for the yellow books.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hopefully both checks are the required books. Even though the minors are minus defense, they still take several hits to kill because of the plus HP. So let's see what's in here. Oh, that's a look like a katana and a copper plate. Well, look at that. The trusty copper plate. I still wouldn't disregard any of these items, you know. That's
Bird Gang.
That's a good Bird Gang. Yeah.
Can I get a Bird Gang in the chat, please?
So, I mean, yeah, those. I mean, the copper plate is. The copper plate might be like the worst. Oh no, it's just a gray soul here.
Okay, nice pickup for Vlad. Hippogriff. This out of the way, chat. Most runners tend to do that last. But Vlad ought to do it first. Good call. And now maybe a possible boss skip on the table if the next major is in the slide lock.
And Bram going back to Chapel. Maybe he's going for the checks that he couldn't find.
Actually, you know what? I like this play from Vlad. This is going to be a super quick boss no matter what. Just go ahead and knock it out. Still 2 books on the table. Yeah, this is correct.
Yeah, because all the bosses left on the table are like, you know, small bosses. What's left anyways? Like, oh, nice.
Small bosses? Big Golem. Big Golem. No, you're right. Easy bosses only on the table at this point. They're all going to be super quick.
There's a book for Bram. Let's see what it is. Big Chapel boss. Oh, well, go figure.
That's a freebie. So both runners have that.
Yeah, the main difference being Vlad hasn't found the blue book yet. So just a reminder to everybody watching, guessing is banned, and you have to get the book and actually read it. Even if you save split and then lost the book, then it's okay. Yeah, but you must get it first and know what is the target or what is the required soul before you enter the grand fight. So, Bram coming here for the red book at the castle corridor. Let's see what this is. This armor from Stolas, and he saved split. So now that he knows and he got the book and he read it, there is no problem if he saves split and returns here to the chapel.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's definitely a valid strategy here.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, all he has to do is go get the discard armor. I don't recall if they got it already. But now it's no longer required for him to have the red book on his inventory before he enters the grand fight.
I think Bram's done a really nice job of maintaining composed after that death. Still behind for sure, but bridging the gap slightly.
And well, in these situations, in these randos, everything can happen. Everything could happen. Well, like you said, there are only easy bosses right now on the table, right? But they still have to find the yellow book, right? And there are still Graham, Julius, and Chaos on the table, and those three can turn the tables at any time.
Could be a yellow book here at Galamont for Vlad. Let's take a look.
Look, there it is.
Common yellow. Okay.
It is Succubus, and he already has Succubus. So all Vlad needs right now is the blue book again. That's ironic. So let's see, where does this door lead? Let's go back to the castle corridor.
Yeah, so Vlad's gonna be able. This is perfect. Just route in this red book on the way.
Oh, I think Vlad forgot that the chapel exists, and there are some checks there that they couldn't get before they had, but because they had no Malphas before, right?
That could be a problem, yeah.
Oops.
Well, on the bright side, if you get really lost, what you can do is just kind of warp around the castle and see if that countdown has a number you've forgotten about. And thankfully, there is a warp in chapel. If Vlad just warps in there at some point, he'll see that number. But if it takes too long, Bram can catch up.
All right, they forgot like these checks here in the. I had also forgotten about these checks here in the underground cemetery. They could not get this before because they had no Malphas or Hippogriff to climb. That's just a copy flying. See what's in here. It's what was the headhunter fight? Oh right, I think it was Vlad or Bram that died to the Reapers.
Yeah, early on I actually don't remember. Someone did, yeah.
Yeah, one of them died to the Reapers in the lower part of the cemetery.
There is Hippogriff for Bram. Catching up.
Well, technically, Bram is ahead, because he got the info on the blue book, and Vlad found Chapel and decides to leave, even though they probably saw that there are two missing checks right there. Well, that was a really tame final guard. Minus HP, minus defense, and there are 0 checks at top floor, so this is actually nice. So they don't have to worry about any book being hidden on top floor. Brandon, oh no, Brandon, don't sign that Milliken. That could be game changing.
Do I have the red book? No.
Does you have the red book? I don't know. Jupiter, do you have a red book?
I don't, sadly. I don't necessarily envy these racers, though. I'm not sure I would have wanted to join this set, considering how Game 1 went. That was a rough scene. I'll pass for now.
Oh,
this is not good for Vlad. No indication that Chapel is on his mind here.
Yeah, which is sad because he just went there, and he saw that there were two checks on the board. And I was just about to ask, like, what was the last check on Castle Corridor? Then I remembered for Bram. Then I remembered that he just save split after getting the red book.
Oh no, Vlad doesn't have the chapel warp.
Oh no, but he knows the entrance.
Why doesn't he have that? Well, that theory from earlier about you warp in and... Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So he remembers the entrance here. And I guess, yeah, in this situation, the warp is kind of optional. I think I still like to pick it up, but you can opt not to get the warp for an area that's connected to Castle Corridor. This is fine. Notices the number. Avoiding disaster here.
So, I mean, they now have Succubus, which is the required yellow soul. I don't think they have Disc Armor, which is the required red soul. And I completely forgot what was Blue Book.
Yeah, that makes sense, Luigi. So early on they didn't have Malphus, right? So you would have had to make a return trip. So yeah, in this situation, just saving it for later makes sense. Alright, so Vlad's in go mode. And very decked out in terms of offensive gear, a great soul loadout. It would take some really creative enemy stat rando combinations to trip Vlad up here, I think. So Vlad is going to win, probably, the first official Game 1. And keep in mind, this is only the first game, technically. So we will have at least one more after this.
So, okay, let's see. That casino is plus HP minus defense. That's actually nice.
Yeah, depending on how those, like, there's a percentage range, right? I believe it's minus 50% up to plus 100%. So depending on the rolls there, those could roughly even out. This is going to be a fine fight.
Ram going back into the underground cemetery just to find out that there's a copy of Yellow Soul. I think it's a copy of Skula. And
plus 4, okay, minus 40 to plus 100, I think. So in that case, it's favored to be a little bit bulkier than normal, but not by a huge amount.
Switching back to everything. Okay, so well, this Graham hasn't been like that hard on the damage stats. Now, thankfully, because of the stat random did not give him a plus attack.
I think that Disc Armor use is fine, but yeah, Lightning Gall is probably better here. Much better.
And what is Graham doing? I mean, he's trying to find... Oh, maybe he's missing Disc Armor. Maybe he's looking for that. So Vlad now done with the grand fight. All he has to do is find Guardians, which I don't believe. Oh no, wait. They did find Guardians. I mean, Bram found Guardians. I don't remember Vlad finding Guardians yet.
It was quite a bit earlier.
It was earlier, yeah.
Well, it's been an endurance for both players. We're coming up, if you factor in the breaks, etc., almost 3 hours. Or 2.5 hours of Aria here, and it's exhausting. I mean, you know, at this point, where is Garden becomes a question on the players' minds. Hopefully Vlad remembers. The reason this comes up so often is because there isn't a warp in Garden. So you have to remember where the exits are connected to, and if you've been playing Aria for 2.5 hours, that can be easy to forget.
Yeah, one easy way to I mean, well, not exactly the easiest way to find gardens, but on the Aria Rando, you know that garden is an entrance that goes through the right, right? I mean, it has only 2 entrances, and they both go from the right, from the left. I mean, from left to right.
It depends on how you look at it, but yeah, that can definitely help to narrow it down, for sure.
So only a couple exits here that lead to from left to right. Vlad coming here, and he finds not gardens.
Yellow book for Bram.
Oh, so he was missing the yellow book. That was he was missing. That was he was looking for. So, I think this Carmel. I don't remember if this Carmel was at the shop, but I believe they both got it earlier. In the meantime, Vlad struggling to get the gardens. He's going for the school exit here. Maybe this is it.
There it is,
Yes.
okay. Alright, so brace yourselves. What are we gonna see for the Julius stat roll?
So everybody brace for the stat casino for Julius. What is this? Hopefully it's something tamer than last time. Yeah, Succubus will make such a huge difference here in this fight. It's
Plus defense. Well, that's not that bad. Oh, never mind, it's pretty bad. Levitain doing 29, not what you want to see. But at least you're only working with the regular 6,000 HP. This will be fine.
The good thing about Julius is that you can bait his attacks, right? I mean, if you stand long enough, you know that he's going to attack while standing, and then you can just crouch at the right time to avoid the whip. So there's a way to bait him into attacking how you want him to attack. But like I said before, this is just a fight of endurance right now, where you just have to be really patient and not burn through your healings.
Now this is interesting. Bram, just to catch everyone up on the left side of the match, is not that far behind and is using Excalibur, which I'm surprised Vlad didn't pick up. So here we go, hang on.
Oh no!
Bram is still in this thing. This is going to be a close one here. And there's no DQ on the table this time. Wait a minute.
Oh no! Oh no! Vlad did not save before Graham? Where was his last save?
Oh, no, never mind. He loaded the suspend file that he didn't use earlier. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
That was scary.
I thought we were talking about some kind of a new crazy wrong warp something. Nah, it's just press the wrong save. That's fine. False alarm. It's good.
Okay, so Graham moving on to phase 2 for Graham. And, ooh, 253 from that random monitor.
Oh, don't die here. Yeah, careful, Bram.
Yeah, any of these late game bosses can prove to be a nuisance if you are not careful on how you. I mean, unless they are minus HP, minus defense, and nothing on the attack stat. Yeah, they're quite easy.
Okay, here comes Bram. Hopefully remembers where Garden is and won't be too far behind.
So,
I really do think the Excalibur is going to make a big difference here. It's tough to use on Julius. You got to make sure your backdash cancels are on point, but potential big time save. And it's going to be so good for Chaos as well.
Okay, so do you think maybe Bram is going for the shop? Maybe take a quick visit to the shop And
Yeah, I think it would make sense.
I think he's trying to find like no, he's not going for the shop. He's going for maybe that garden sentence. But where are you going, Bram? I mean, gardens is to the right. Yeah, I think he realized, like, he figured, like, okay, so, yeah, I shouldn't be exiting from the left.
Okay, so I think now we're going to the shop. Oh? Had to change your heart about where garden might be.
Yeah, because they found it earlier. And maybe he remembers, like, okay, oh, so he equips the school. Yeah, he definitely knows where gardens is. And there we go. Bram enters the gardens, and Vlad is still on phase 1 of Julius. So yeah, plus defense Julius is it's another endurance fight. I mean, what would you prefer between a plus HP Julius or plus defense Julius?
Probably plus HP. Although it would depend on my loadout. Let's check out the Excalibur damage. Oh, that's really good. That's almost twice as good, in fact. Yeah, it's gonna... I like the Shadow Knight usage. In fact, I'm surprised we aren't seeing this from Vlad here. This pairs really nicely with the Levitain. It's gonna be harder to use with the Excalibur, but still decent.
And with the Shadow Knight, yeah, Shadow Knight dealing decent damage, 31 per attack. And oh no, Vlad, it's in a little bit of trouble here, and it's been burning through his heals. And even if they have succubus, it's not guaranteed like you're going to just hit everything and just be full heal. Ooh, 132 damage. The weak damage is just huge.
Vlad has got to be close. This fight feels like it's gone on for a year. There it is. Okay. Nice job, Vlad. Okay, so home stretch. Vlad with a solid lead. I think the only chance Bram has, you can't find a top tier weapon in here. Or Vlad just skips the checks. I'm surprised that Vlad is doing this. Algorithm made a comment earlier in the chat that with enemy stat rando, you always go for the 3 checks in Chaotic Realm. Towards the end of the tournament last year, we saw a lot of people skip those if they were comfortable with their loadout, just to save the like 5 seconds total. But in this situation, you want good elemental variety. So I have to totally agree. I think you always do these checks.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a part of the new developing meta here.
The chances are, like, for example, if one of these checks has a, let's say, a claim, right? And for some instance, Chaos is weak to Holy, that would be like the best combo you could ever have. And Vlad not going for the checks.
Well, if you're not going to go for him... Oh, well, we're getting one.
One is a castle map. That's great.
The one check is a castle map. That's sad. That's...
according to Barracks, that's a game-winning item. So you could papercut Graham with it.
Can't even sell a map.
In the meantime, Bram's still struggling with twice the hits for...
So if this is weak to fire or even better weak to curse, Vlad's gonna cruise through this fight. If it's like resist sword, I think Bram can still win. So Vlad does have a good amount of healing. Let's see.
Here we go. Let's that casino. And we have
Weak to sword. Okay, GG. Minus HP plus defense, weak to sword. That is a wrap on game number 1. An insanely comfortable chaos loadout here. Very nice. So, little redemption here for Donazuke. Nice
yeah,
hero.
thankfully. I don't know. I will just pick up on the first seed. I mean, the first seed that never existed, right? And I don't know, use that as a practice seed. I mean, if you can survive that, then you can survive anything. And Brian entering Chaos, nothing on the first check. There was a katana. But I believe they both have Muramasa, so... Let's see how this fight goes for Vlad. Yeah, they still have to be careful though. I mean, any wrong move and you get comboed by these Chaos Orbs. And that could be the game for them. Right there and then.
Now, having said all that, this plus defense, we're seeing it come into play here. And this is why I think that plus HP is a preference compared to plus defense. The threshold of having high defense means, like, Vlad is doing 3 damage a pop with 2 eyes down with the Muramasa. You'd rather see that damage number higher with more HP. So it's probably going to be a 4-eye strat here.
Well, these are actually good news for Vlad. So the 3 checks, Chaos, and nothing. Yeah, they were like, you know, rather useless checks. So yeah, it was the right call, skipping those checks. So for
you know what I'm really excited about?
Yep.
The post-game interview.
Oh yeah.
we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, by the way, I have saved this. Do you see it? I believe. No.
Okay, so 16 with minus HP, this is more than enough here, yeah. Vlad's happy with this. I mean, look, Bram really did an amazing job catching up. It makes you wonder, right? If Bram didn't die to death,
yeah,
would they be
that would
ahead?
have been huge.
I mean, they might.
Vlad just has to, make like a really huge mistake here and get comboed into a death for Bram to be back into this. But according from what I'm seeing, there's no way Vlad is going to lose this, right? And look at all that healing from the succubus. Yeah, sadly he died to death.
And time for Vlad, game number 1. What a crazy race. And it looks like Bram takes a death.
Ironically, yeah, Bram takes a death.
Almost exactly the same time. So yeah, a fantastic game number 1 version 2. Really excellent stuff. Surprisingly close. And I can't wait for the follow-up. But we're going to have that scheduled for another time. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Vlad and Bram in here. Get their thoughts. I posted the links earlier, but please do give the runners a follow if you enjoyed the matches today. Definitely very entertaining, a lot of ups, a lot of downs.
See if I can get.
I've reached out to Vlad. Hopefully we can get him in here.
Yeah.
This is the right strat from Bram, by the way. You go for the 2-eye with Excalibur. This has got such a large hitbox that you can attack both at once.
Yeah, I retrieved the last seed number, just to be careful, never to roll that again. That's 12, 12 on the core with the Excalibur.
And we are joined now by Vlad. Hello, congrats.
Hello, thank you.
I don't think we've ever seen a game one take a total of 2 hours 40 minutes. Extenuating circumstances. How do you feel?
I don't know. The seeds were a bit difficult. I feel the first one with the very hard late game bosses, and the second one with the hard to find books. But it was very fun overall.
Yeah, Donozuke was talking about that seed number one being maybe the toughest they've ever seen, and it's got to be up there, right? Brutal stuff.
Yeah, that was the Dark Souls of Area of Sorrow.
However, game two I thought you played super well. Made some really good calls and some excellent combat on Chaos Season. How do you feel about your gameplay overall that seed?
I think gameplay was alright. I had a couple difficult bosses that I did early and that went well. I feel bad because once again I forgot where were the top floor and gardens when I was looking for them.
Can you believe how often that happens to everybody? We always forget gardens. Now, in your case, you know, this has been a long set here already.
It's so easy to just have a paper and write it down. It takes 2 seconds. And I never
for
do it
Bram.
for some reason.
Now, Bram also finishing here. GG's to Bram. Sub 70 minutes. Hopefully we'll get them in as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so... Yeah, very close. Just to clarify the rules here for everyone watching, that earlier game was basically just a wash. Because it was a double did not finish, we erase it from the scorecard. This was game one. So we're going to have a game two and possibly a game three later on. Vlad, how do you feel? Are you going to be changing your approach at all for the following matches? Anything you're going to look out for?
Well, I won't guess, for sure. That will be the big difference, but otherwise, no, I'm still getting used to the new setting of the Rando, which makes things a bit different from before. My big takeaway so far is that you should be more careful about stacking up for the late game, like taking extra time, taking extra checks to acquire good weapons. Here in CT wasn't necessary because we had Levitain and Muramasa from the very beginning. But,
yeah,
yes.
true. It was a really nice start. Well, Donozuke, any other questions for our winner here?
I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for that first seed. Well, that's the thing about these randos, right? But yeah, I mean, if anything, you guys proved to be like really persistent with this, with that really excruciating seed. How did you feel about that, anyway?
About the first seed being so hard?
Yeah.
Well, since when I was fighting the late game bosses that were so difficult, I already knew I was DQ'd, so it didn't affect me as badly as it would possibly have if I was in contention for the race win. So for me, it was mostly a fun challenge to like deal with the plus attack plus defense chaos with just my Levitain. It was not too bad. If I had been in contention, maybe I would have been more frustrated about it. I don't know.
Welcome in, Bram.
The
hello.
first was mostly fine except for Julius, I think. And then he made me lose all my healing items, and then I died to chaos a bunch of times, and then I just got tilted. But
So, Bram, game number two was very close actually at the end. You died to death around the middle point,
yeah,
but then had a really nice comeback, and you had finished Chaos 1 at the same time that Vlad
oh, that's funny.
ended race, so really close towards the end.
I remember seeing the thing pop up in chat that he finished, like right as I died to chaos 2,
Yeah.
which is pretty funny.
So the first seed was a rough one, a second seed, a really great comeback. What are your plans for games 2 and possibly 3? As you look ahead, are you going to be changing anything up?
Am I gonna be changing it? I don't know. It depends on what is in the shop, I guess.
That's fair.
I remember in the first shop there was Archdemon, and I guess I just missed it. I would have probably bought that right away.
Well, funny you mention that. Vlad did get a lot of mileage out of that on game 1. So yeah, it's one of the great things about this game, right? There are just so many variables you have to keep track of, and especially with the pretty generous starting shop, it's unpredictable. You have to kind of react to what you're given. So yeah, very best of luck to both of you on the following matches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and call things here. We don't want to go over time, but thank you all very much for watching. You can follow the runners. You can also follow myself and Danozuke if you enjoyed the commentary today. Thank you again, Danozuke. It was a pleasure.
Same, a pleasure having the chance to do commentary for these great races and do commentary with you.
We're still early into the bracket. Lots and lots of Aria to come. Remember to follow SpeedGaming for all of the action here and for other randomizer tournaments. We will see you next time.
See ya.